Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. So, why are we here this afternoon? Why are we here? Two reasons. Today, April 4th, it's sad, marks the 56th anniversary of when the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, meaning he was killed. And we're here today in this space, in this building named after him on the day 56 years ago that he was assassinated. We're also here because you have been diligently working, St. Stephen's students, on schoolwork, Black history, learning all you can learn, and taking all that knowledge with you that you're going to share with everyone here this afternoon. Just think, August 28th, 2023, which was our very first day of school, we marched through Harrisburg to this place to commemorate the March on Washington. It was the 60th anniversary. Do you remember doing that on the first day of school? Yes, it was an awesome event. Dr. King and a host of other civil rights leaders and a host of others civil rights leaders, a host of other civil rights leaders planned this huge march. And they were marching for jobs and freedom for all. But there was somebody that didn't like what Dr. King did, and he was killed. So we're going to take time right now to remember Dr. King. So I need my third graders to come up with your candle. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Dr. King. Justice. That's not true.
Nice and loud.
Kindness.
Nice and loud.
Brave. Hope. Diversity. Social justice. Black. Equal rights. Unique. Speaker.
What you just heard were my students sharing words associated with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, usually you'll find at a memorial they will extinguish the lights, but I thought it only appropriate for us to turn on the light. Why? To keep the dream alive. To me, our light says we're going to keep the dream alive. We're going to continue the work of Dr. King. We're going to be activists. And at St. Stephen's, we're going to do all that we can do to carry out the work. We're going to be about diversity and equity and inclusion and justice and belonging. just like Dr. King. Third graders, thank you. You may return to your seat. Kindergarten, if you would like to come in your own way, followed then by first grade.
Good afternoon. We are St. Stephen's Episcopal School Kindergarten. My name is Mrs. DePietro. And what we decided to do for our Racial Literacy Day was we talked about a little girl around our age. What's her name?
Ruby Bridges.
We learned about Ruby Bridges. Now, we decided to write a letter to Ruby Bridges because Ruby Bridges is still alive. She's still here with us. She is still fighting the good fight. We want to join her. So we decided to get together. Everyone wrote their own individual letter, and we also wrote a group letter. So I'm going to let some of my students read part of their letter to you today, and then I will read our full letter together. All right, are you ready? You are kind like Ruby Bridges helping
I'm kind like Ruby Bridges for helping my community.
I can be kind like Ruby Bridges by changing the world. By giving hugs.
I can be kind by being myself.
I can be kind like Ruby Bridges by sharing my crayons with my friends. Giving hugs.
So we brainstormed a few different ways to be kind. If you want to move over, and then we'll all read our letter together. And so we decided to take some of our great ideas, put them together into one big letter. So if we're going to stand up here and read it, do you girls want to come back while I read the letter? So we wrote, "Dear Ruby, we love school just like you did. We learned all about how you fought for what is right. We want to be just like you. We love how kind you are, how brave you are. So we decided to write you letters about times that we were kind and brave just like you. And we hope that you enjoy it. P.S. We learned a new word because of you. We learned the word activist." Who wants to tell me what an activist is in kindergarten?
Fight for what's right.
It's somebody who fights for what is right, and they don't give up, no matter what anybody tries to tell them to give up. Good job, kindergarten.
First grade is coming. We have 2 students remembering Dr. King. And while they come up, did everyone see that welcome that the city did for us? Welcome, St. Stephen's Episcopal School. How cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, the city of Harrisburg. Thank you.
We are sad that Dr. King is no longer with us. We appreciate everything he did to bring all people together in love and kindness.
Thank you, August.
My class and I are going to work really hard to keep Dr. King's dream alive.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you. So Tristan is going to come up. He has something to share. I'm going to let you hold the mic himself, okay? Ooh, holding the mic. Teachers there for moral support.
Dr. King taught me. Tell them what they taught you. Go for it.
Dr. King taught me. Wait, what's that? He taught me to stand up for myself.
Now, everyone can participate in this next part with "We shall overcome." We shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Here we go. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe, I believe, I believe, I believe we shall overcome someday. We will live in peace. We will live in peace. We will live in peace. We will live in peace someday. Someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I believe, I do believe. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. We shall all be free. Last time. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Sing. Sing, St. Stephen's. Sing, St. Stephen's. Sing, St. Stephen's. Deep in my heart, I believe, I believe, I believe. I do believe. Say it, St. Stephen's. We shall all become someday. Way to go. Bravo, 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 bravo. I want to acknowledge Mr. Christian Say, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I got to say hello to my brothers. Okay, so to continue, we have a Black History presentation coming from first grade, and then middle school has something they will present. First grade.
During the months of January and February, the first grade students worked very hard on two very special projects. We first started off by reading some books that have the themes of diversity, unity, inclusion, and acceptance and kindness. And then we wrote and published our own book called Everyone Belongs, which explains these ideas. Can you hold that up for us? And then each day in February, we learned about a different person from Black history, and the students recorded their learning in their own Black History Month book. And a few students would like to share a few pages from the books that they wrote.
Benjamin Banneker, 1731, 1806. He studied science and math. He was a farmer and inventor. Bessie Coleman, 1892, 1962. She was the first African-American woman to fly a plane. Ella Fitzgerald, 1917 through 1996. She was a jazz singer. She was the first African American woman to win a Grammy Award.
Diversity means there are people who are different from you. Diversity is important because we can learn from each other. We should respect each other.
Kindness means caring for others. Kindness is important because it helps us to make friends. We can show kindness by helping others.
So this is a book that Mrs. Martin did with her students, hardback. So I think some other teachers at St. Stephen's are going to jump on board and do a book. What do you think, third grade? What do you think, kindergarten? What do you think, middle school? Middle school, if you would come in your own way.
All right, hey everybody. So we don't have all of middle school. We just have 3 middle schoolers here. Ariana, you grab that one. Arlen, you grab that one. So in middle school, we talked about 2 things for Racial Literacy Day. We talked first about the one-drop rule, which was a rule in the United States that they are going to explain a little bit here in a second. And then we talked about a famous Supreme Court case, which is called Loving v. Virginia, which is related to this rule here in a second. And we talked about this in every subject in middle school, not just what I teach, social studies. I'm Mr. Smith, the social studies teacher. But in social studies, we talked about how race through US history is something that is socially motivated and constructed. We talked about how that happens, why that happens, and when it happened, that moment in history, and how it's present today still. These are not just things that are left in the past. All of this shaped kind of the framework of the United States today, and that's what our 3 middle schoolers here are going to talk about, and Aiden's going to pick it up.
First, we're going to talk about the one-drop rule. The one-drop rule means that any person with even one ancestor of black ancestry is considered black. The one-drop rule was prominent in the United States toward the southern areas. The one-drop rule was associated with the principle of individuals with invisible blackness that developed after the long history of racial interaction in the South. The reason why it started in 1910 is because it was used to prevent interracial marriages and in general to deny rights and equal opportunities and uphold white supremacy. It was only until 1967 that the Lovings versus Virginia case officially ended the one-drop rule and let interracial marriages allowed in many of the southern states.
Loving v. Virginia was a Supreme Court case that challenged a law like the one-drop rule. The Lovings were an interracial couple who were criminally charged with interracial marriage in Virginia. According to Virginia law at the time, interracial marriages were banned, and the Lovings were forced to leave the state to avoid being jailed. They moved to Washington, D.C., but wanted to return to their hometown.
With the help of the American Civil Liberties Union, they filed a lawsuit to overturn the law, and in 1967, the Supreme Court struck down all laws banning interracial marriage since they violated the 14th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution, which states all people should have equal protections under the law.
So my students focused on the continent of Africa. So I have some students that are going to read for you. Top 10 facts about Africa. Breon, would you come up, please? Can you hold that and hold the microphone too? Go up in front so that they can really see you.
Top 10.
I don't know why she's acting shy.
Right here. Top 10 facts about Africa. 1. It is the largest continent of the world. 2. There are 54 countries in Africa. 3. Africa has the world's largest desert, sort of. 4. It is the home of the world's longest river, the Nile. 5. Most of the world's diamonds come from Africa. 6. Africa makes 70% of the world's cocoa beans. 7. Our earliest ancestors originated from Africa. 8. 1.2 billion people live in Africa. 9. There are over 2,000 different languages spoken in Africa. 10. Beware of the hippos in Africa.
Thank you. May I have Ella and Tyler?
Kente cloth. The kente stool is a symbol of achievement and overcoming hardship. It pays homage to the ancestors' sacrifices, reunites African Americans with Africa, and asserts. Right here. Asserts their hope and confidence in the future. Kente cloth is a highly significant symbol of African identity, representing a rich culture heritage passed down for generations. Its intricate patterns and vibrant colors have deep culture meanings. This serves a visual language that communicates social, spiritual, and moral values.
One central significance of the kente cloth its connection to the West African history and culture. It is believed to have originated from the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana, and its use was once limited to royalty and high-ranking officials. The fabric was considered a symbol of wealth, power, and prestige. In addition to its historical significance, the kente cloth is a symbol of African identity in the modern world. Many people worldwide proudly wear the kente stoles to celebrate their African heritage and connect with their cultural roots. The cloth has become a symbol of pride and identity for many people of African descent, both in Africa and the African diaspora.
So you can see my students are donned in their kente cloth. Stand up, third grade. Stand up, third grade. You can see how they're donned in their kente. Turn around, third grade. Come on. Turn around. You can see how they're donned in their kente attire. Way to go, third grade. I do want to share, I want to give a shout out to a colleague who made this for, you may sit down, third grade. You can tell I'm their teacher, you can tell, see me. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. Evan Wilson. He's our building substitute teacher who has been a blessing to our school. He made this for third grade. He made this. He said, Miss Baldwin, what can I do for you? And I said, could you do a map of Africa? And he did. And then he said, do you want me to put the countries on? And of course I said, yes. Look at that. Can we give a hand clap to Mr. Wilson, a shout out to Mr. Wilson. He has been a blessing to St. Stephen's. Let's continue. May I have the reader for the mask?
African masks. Africans may wear masks during ceremonies before a harvest to pray for a good yield. They also play a significant role during important ceremonies such as births, weddings, funerals, and invitation rites.
So my kiddos, thank you. My kiddos made these African masks. They're all the same, yet different. So afterwards, you can come over and take a closer look. So they were so proud of what they did, and we thought we would share it with everyone this afternoon.
Weaving. Besides the cultural importance of hand-woven cloth mats and baskets, weaving helps teach young people perseverance and patience alongside the mathematics and science skills that promote land stewardship. It also fosters their creative and critical thinking.
So my kids did weaving, and come over afterwards and you can take a closer look. Way to go, third grade. And then we have a presenter to tell you about the drums.
Drums hold a very special place in Africa history and culture because they play an important role in people's lives. This sound of this drum, when played, is aimed at alerting people in the village of danger or someone's death. The drum was made using an iron blade and covered with cowhide.
I just want to say how proud I am of my students. I'm so impressed, you guys. Give yourselves another round of applause, please. Yes. And I'd like to emphasize that while most of these lessons were taught in the month of February, St. Stephen's Episcopal School values diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, and belonging every single day of the year, and it is part of our curriculum every single day of the year. It is part of who we are as a community. It is a core part of our values, and we're thrilled to welcome everyone to our community, and we appreciate all of these lessons that we learned today from our students. So thank you for teaching us something, everybody. And thank you, Ms. Baldwin. Absolutely. A round of applause for Ms. Baldwin.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy the museum. Enjoy what our students, your students, have done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank